See, that pissed me off. Like, we had like a little group going. Let's just talk for a second.
So look, today I fucking work. Oh, let me tell you the story. So I get the address, right? I have like this what's it called? This software system that we work with, and that's where everything gets assigned. That's where, as far as the leads I have to go to. And I get information. Problem is, there's so many moving parts. You know, this is not even relevant to this particular story, but sometimes I miss things because there's just so many emails because it's attached to the work email. So any like notification in the software gets sent as an email too. It could be the dumbest shit. So I'll have tons of emails, but that didn't matter in this case. So I go to this house, and it was a house being purchased by someone. And
Was anyone living in it?
as far as I knew, no.
Okay.
And I saw the contact was the realtor, so I just called to verify if anyone was going to be present at the time I was supposed to be there. And he was like, "I'm actually here now." He's like, "Do you need me here?" And I was like, "No, not really. You know, I don't need you to be there. You know, he's not the one buying the service from us."
Right.
So he's like, "Okay, I'll probably head out here in a little bit." I'm like, "Perfect." So I get there, and I pull up to the house. Overgrown vegetation on it, like it's in Denellen. You know Denellen.
Oh, it ended up being Denellen?
Denellen. Yeah.
I thought it was going to be Silver Spring Shores.
No, I had another one over here after that.
Okay.
Yeah. So the first one this morning was Denellen. So I get there and I look, and it fits the bill. Looks vacant. You know, looks vacant.
Yeah, there's a lot of houses in Denellen that look vacant.
So I'm okay. All right. And he told me, he's like, you know, if you need to get in for whatever reason, he was going to give me the code. He's like, there's an electrical box on it, whatever. So I pull up. I don't see anyone there. He must have left. Walk up to the door, and I don't see no box, you know, no realtor box on there. I'm like, The screen door was locked. So I give a little peek into the window. This house is filled with shit. Like, occupied.
Like hoarder level?
Not hoarder level, but, you know, some retro 80s decorative things, you know, like typical Florida decor, like the fake bird statues and shit like that.
But looks like it could have been left.
Looks like it could have been left. So I'm like, okay, maybe they just got evicted. I don't know. Then there's just all this stuff in there that it's overgrown. So I'm like, okay, let's go. Let's start what I have to do. So I get the ladder, you know, I start getting up there. I'm doing everything, walking around, and I couldn't get good pictures because that's how many trees were.
For those who are unaware, without naming like a company and stuff, what do you do, or where do you operate on a home?
I work basically kind of for myself, but I sling roofs for a living right now.
So you're on a lot of roofs.
Oh,
so
yeah.
when you say I'm there, you're talking about on top of a roof.
Yeah, the house.
Okay.
So, and to get measurements, there's this thing we can use where you get good pictures surrounding it. And because of the vegetation, I couldn't get those good pictures, so I'm already kind of pissed. So I'm gonna have to do this by hand. So I'm up there. Anyway, I'm moving around. I'm getting all my measurements. I'm trying to move quickly because I took advantage of there not being anyone present for the appointment. So I'm like, let's get in and let's get the fuck out. While I'm walking around, all of a sudden, I'm like towards the front of the house, and I see a man, a frail old man walking, looks like out of the garage. And I'm like, oh shit. Someone was in there, like all the lights were off. Like it looked empty, like someone was not home, no cars. And the gutters were full. It looked like no one's keeping up this yard. And he looks up, I look at him, I'm like, oh, hello. And he's like, doesn't say anything. And I say, you buying this house? And he's like, no. I'm like, oh, that's weird. I'm like, you live here? He's like, yeah. I'm like, huh. So anyway, I get down, I talk to him. Come to find out, they gave me the wrong address. I was on top of someone's house without permission.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. So that's how that started. But anyway, stupid.
Thinking, I was trying to...
And it fit he walked down, he looked like he was a bum, kind of.
Really?
Yeah, he was old too, man. He was pushing probably 80. Nice guy, very understanding. He was like, it's okay, you know. But it was super awkward because I can tell you right now, being in this business during the day. These people with their roofs, people don't like people on their roof.
I wouldn't like someone on my roof.
I know, especially when you have no idea, because obviously I'm the one that prompted him to come outside. He's hearing like boom, 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 like all over the roof. Yeah, I'm like racing around that bitch.
I was the last 2 minutes of your story. I kind of halfway blanked out on me because I was really trying to come up with some good like Santa Claus kind of joke, but I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, no. I mean, probably would have been.
And what's sad about that is you're probably one of the first humans he's seen in a really long time.
It felt that way.
A lot of these old people, especially way out in Denellen, or even in the villages, somewhere as populated as the villages. I think we talked about the villages last time. Yeah, with the golf carts.
Yeah, I fucking hate the villages.
No. When I was doing pest control, it was heartbreaking sometimes when you would see this older person's face light up, and you can tell, like, oh man,
they don't interact.
I'm the only person you have seen in months, and I'm talking like way pre-COVID.
Oh yeah,
which just shows me that they're fucking families. I mean, who knows what anybody's circumstances are, but I mean, a lot of these are like really nice, like a typical grandma who you're like, wow, this would be great if I had a grandmother like this, and you go over and do the whole deal. But that was some of the most heartbreaking shit. And I would spend like an extra 15 minutes I'm like, I have to sit and talk to him. I'm sure you probably run into that too.
I was just going to say, you're probably the only person that I know. Well, I'm sure people, if they were to hear this, be like, oh yeah, I had to do the same thing, had to go to clients' houses. But you're the only person I know directly who can understand that.
Yeah.
Because there was another guy I went to his house not too long ago here in Ocala, and he was just so floored to just talk and about so much stuff. And he was telling me his story of how he lived in China. And he was old, man. He was old. And he called us out for some rinky-dink thing. Ended up not being able to help him.
Right.
But it didn't stop him from just talking. And he was a cat guy. And he was telling me his stories about his cats and how he just loved cats, so much, and that they get a bad rap. And I was, and I'm telling him like, yeah, I got 2 cats too, but they're fucking demons.
Yeah.
I love them to death.
Cats are cats.
Cats are cats, right? And then he was just going on and just telling me how he met his wife and all this stuff.
But
and
the wife was not there. The wife is dead.
No, she was there actually.
Oh, okay. She's
but then
tired
he was
of hearing
talking about
this
his previous girlfriends and the one he had in China, and how he, he was in the military at the time, and he was just telling me all sorts of stuff. How the woman he was dating was able to be like, no, come with me, and he was like, these are, it's communist China. Like, I don't think they're gonna allow me to go through here at the airport. And she just talked to him and like all sorts of weird stuff. But he was going on and on and on. So I know what you mean. These people, a lot of the times, they don't have people to talk to like that. So when someone shows up, I mean, they will go.
Right. But I mean, that just shows you, one, human beings are social creatures.
Oh, yeah.
And when you're talking, I started pondering again on like what, for one, there's such a wide variety of elderly people you run into. I mean, I guess you could place them into some categories where there's some that you're like, I can't believe you're an old person, you're talking just like me, and then the crotchety ones, and then the ones that want to break your heart. I really am curious as to what our generation will operate like when they get older.
Oh, me too.
Just being raised. I mean, think about the stark differences between when the guy who's went to China grew up versus, I mean, you can just say us. We were like probably one of the first generations to really latch on to the computer at an early age. However, I think we did have the best of both worlds.
That's what I was just going to say. I think we're in that generation that made it. We have the best, like you said, we have the best case scenario where we grew up with a lot of the technology that's here today, but with enough of how it used to be to where we haven't completely lost social interact. I mean, I'm sure a lot of us in the because we're millennials,
Yes.
And then now the generation moving in, they're way more dependent, and like their adolescence and growing up is more involved in this new shit. Whereas, like, you know, we had VHS and a lot of stuff before smartphones were around, and we played outside, you know, growing up.
A lot of very prehistoric technology in regards to at-home consumption of it. There's been technology like computers and such and recording devices for a while.
Right.
But
Like, we watched Titanic on 2 VHSs.
I remember that, and it was so much thicker.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fascinating to really think about that. I was thinking about
How we're going to be when we're older. Like
I know,
that.
yeah.
Oh.
But it was something in regards to the best of both worlds. Yeah, I guess because I'm losing it here for a second, buddy.
Well, I will say this. I mean, because I have younger siblings, right?
Okay, yes. I don't.
And I can see the difference. And like, don't get me wrong, even us at this age can get lost in the sauce and can, you know, be invested in that social world and scroll, and it can happen, and we can do some mindless stuff. But I watch how they operate, and that is where it all happens a lot of the time.
And the worst part, I don't want to say about people younger than us, because God, we're starting to sound old. We're getting old too. We're almost 30, brother. But I think where we benefit when we do indulge, and I guess I can only speak for you and I, because I know this about you too, and people in our immediate circle, when we indulge and we decide to delve into just kind of being sucked into the tech universe and just letting social media and all things screens and programming control our minds, we at least have the awareness. And at least for me, I've always got a sense of guilt about that. When I've spent way too much time on YouTube and social media,
I'm like, what the fuck am I doing?
I shouldn't be doing this. Where the generation, I remember what I was going to say too. After us, I don't think
it phases them.
It's just a part of them.
Right.
Now, is that necessarily wrong?
Well, they don't know anything different.
Most people above that age, even though boomers and older people are some of the worst culprits of social media fuckery and being totally consumed with it.
That's true, because a lot of boomers live on Facebook.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Facebook too. I don't know if we did on the last one or not. I can't remember if it was on air or back on the porch.
About the whistleblower?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't think we talked about it.
Long story short, everybody older than the newest batch of, let's just say, young adults, because we're now just adults.
Yeah, which is crazy.
I'm talking now who are, I'll say, 18 to 24. Everybody older than them does look at their behavior, look at their music, and look at their culture as wrong or an atrocity, or back in my day, and like, oh, I even find myself doing that, especially like with hip hop, and that might just be objectively true. However, there's definitely times I catch myself when I'm like, oh shit, I'm just being the old guy right now, saying I don't get what's going on. When I see these trends online and certain memes that I just look at it and I'm like,
yeah, I don't understand.
Where's the humor here, or where's the? And I guess who are we to say that's not funny, or that's because millions of people find it funny, find it entertaining, and are posting it and reposting it.
Well, I think really, like, because then you could say the same thing about the next generation, because they're going to eventually get older and there's going to be some new shit.
Right. They're going to be in our shoes.
But here is what I think is the issue, though. I think when you look at just biology and like what humans are, we're social creatures, and that need doesn't get fulfilled from all that stuff. So I think either way, as people get older, like they're gonna I don't even know if one day they're going to have the capacity, and this is down the line, to be that old. Like back in my day, everyone might just be in the vortex by then and not even know what back. You know what I'm saying? Because we're biologically need to socialize. You know what I'm saying? And you're not going to get it through the phone the real way. Like it's weird.
It creates a very contorted and twisted view of what human interaction is. Obviously, there's the keyboard warriors who are all tough and fuck you, this and that, who...
They'll never say that in your face.
I've never had someone come up to me and just like act the way they act online to my face, even randomly or whatever, which most of it is random. They're just hopping into somewhere. But you're right. What is the future generation? And I guess I'm talking more of humanity, not what's going on around them. And we can get into that too, because that will greatly dictate how they operate. But it's so crazy. I think about my niece and nephew, who are 4 and like 7 now. And the 7-year-old has some pre-COVID memories, but think about you were born and your first memories are just interacting out in the world and everybody's wearing masks and and it's been going like, I want to say, can you remember like one of the first things you ever remember? For me, let me give you an example.
Okay, go ahead.
I remember sitting on the porch of the house that was behind my parents' old house, not the one we recorded in. There was like this 1920s schoolhouse. If I can find a picture, I will try and I'll put it up. And I was sitting on the porch and I made these dirt clods just to throw. And my brother and my dad were like, yeah, let's go do this. I can't remember what it was. And they went walking off. And I picked up a dirt clod and I threw it. And I remember when it hit the ground, it went squeak. It squeaked. I had to, and that's the stupidest story of all time. I had to have been, when I time out everything, like, okay, the pool wasn't there. The house was still there. The tree house was half built. I calculate I was about 4 years old. So would you agree that around that age was probably when the average person starts remembering things?
Yeah, I would say so, because that was the memory I had as an example was when I was living in Melbourne,
Ohio.
Florida. Melbourne, Florida. Whoa. Before I even lived up there. But I was about 3 years old probably. And I was at the playground because my grandparents lived in a neighborhood that had this playground that's still there. And I actually drove by recently because my grandmother doesn't live in this house anymore, and sometimes I drive by it for nostalgia.
Oh, I do it all the time.
And it's amazing how much the property has changed.
And don't you hate it? You're like, I
hate it. I couldn't believe it. I looked at it.
I want to buy it and make it how it was.
And I'm like, well, and it sucks because I can never make it how it was because of the vegetation that was there.
Oh, okay.
They completely stripped it. Like, you couldn't see the house from the road. Now you can see it. That's the worst. So, I know.
Oh, that's the worst.
Yeah. Like, you couldn't see the house, and now it's... And I will say this, though. They did a good job on the damn grass. It's fucking glorious.
Well, huh.
But anyway, this neighborhood had a playground, and I would go there with my dad and stuff. And I remember being pushed on the swing, falling off, and going face first into the ground, eating a mouthful of dirt, and my dad picking me up and washing my face off in the water fountain that was in the pavilion. And I was like crying and shit. Yeah, but it's funny because when I go back, I'm like, that's the water fountain. It's right there. Like, it's all that's still there. Mm-hmm. And that was, I was probably 3 or 4 years old. I wasn't in school yet. It was like before preschool.
So imagine your formative years.
And this is the shit you're dealing with.
Masks. No, we have to stay away from people. And then you see people arguing. You see someone without a mask and someone with a mask. And then the person who's not wearing the mask is getting in trouble. And what do you care about the most when you're a kid? Is getting in trouble? what the fuck are we teaching this new generation, and what's it gonna look like?
I can tell you this right now. I think it's child abuse, full stop. And I've already seen a couple of things that made me, chuckle, because it's not funny, but it's the irony. I saw this, you know how I get a lot of wisdom from memes, and it showed a photo of a classroom with students, little students, maybe kindergarten, and they were in hula hoops, separated, like to keep them distance, all wearing masks, and the caption read, "Don't homeschool your kids. They won't be socially, prepared," they said. And what they're doing now in these schools is just disturbing. I've seen another where have you seen this one where it's the group of kids? They all look dead inside. They're all sitting in a group. They all have their stupid masks on. And the teacher is singing a song, and she's saying, "I wear my mask to school. I wear my mask to school. Hi ho stereo. Wear my mask to school. It keeps my friends safe." It's disturbing. It's absolutely sick. And you can see the kids. They're just sitting there. Like, one kid has it below his nose, and obviously, she's not even paying attention to that. And then there was another one. This is the last one I'll bring up. This is a good one. And this is kind of a bookend to like what this is doing to the kids.
Okay.
It's a video of a mother. Maybe we can put these on somehow. And she's filming her son walking to the front yard after getting off the bus. And he's walking, and he's got his mask hanging on his wrist. And she says, "Honey, so we took the school to court over the masks." And he stopped, and he's listening. And she says, "And we won. And you don't have to wear a mask." That kid dropped his shit, ran to his mother, and gave her a huge hug and was emotional over it. And the mom was crying. He was on the verge of tears because they fucking hate it. And they're not learning. Like, it's disturbing, honestly. I think it's evil making kids do this, considering what we know and how little they are affected by the you-know-what.
Yes.
Because I can tell you right now, we're lucky we live in Florida, but if I had kids, they wouldn't be going to school in these other states. Not a chance in hell.
No. And the amount of stories and headlines I see involving parents getting threatened jail time, kids get straight A students, or I don't mean to say straight A, and
decent students
who will not get expelled otherwise, facing expulsion over wearing something that Dr. Fauci, the man who's making them wear it, essentially said in a private email, well, they're really not as all that effective against this specific. But people like it, and it makes people feel better, so let's just push it. So the man who's claiming to be an expert, and the man who basically has dictated the rhythm of our lives for a year plus, admits that masks, other than respirators, like my dad wears when he goes under a house to fucking fog with poisonous chemical, are ineffective. So, what?
Yeah. Because let's cut the bullshit. It's no longer about the you-know-what. It's about controlling us. And speaking of Fun Guy Fauci, that's what I'm going to call him, because he's super fun. He just injects fun into everything.
And
because he's trying to cancel Christmas again.
He's literally Fun Guy.
Fun Guy. one guy, he literally said, I forget what network it was on, but he was doing an interview, and of course, they set him up with the questions. These newscasters are just pathetic. She's
let me ask you.
Let me ask you, can we even meet for Christmas this year? It's like, that wasn't a setup. And you know, Cheryl, honestly, it's too early to tell. We just need to get through this, and we need to get as many people vaccinated as possible. It's like, shut the fuck up. You're not going to tell me what I'm going to do on Christmas. I didn't elect you. I don't know how you have this much influence. And newsflash, the majority of us have checked out. Did you see they made a film about him?
No.
It's Disney Plus.
Really?
I think it's Nat Geo documentary. I watched the trailer. They're trying to get you with the empathy thing.
Okay, this is a positive film. A film
for him, positive,
portraying him positively.
A positive spin for him.
So
here's the beauty of what I'm going to tell you, though. So remember how I told you before there's a mass migration happening to get to Texas and Florida?
Correct.
Well, if you read between the lines, you can see where the majority of people are speaking. Rotten Tomatoes, it got like a 90% certified fresh. Look at the audience score, nearly 100% bad. Well, it got a 2%, but it was over 1,000 reviews. And it was like, and then the certified fresh was based on like 90 reviews or something. Also, Dave Chappelle's thing, rated super low, splat mark by the critics. Audience score, over 1,000 reviews, 90%. They know where the majority stands, and they're just promulgating this bullshit. But here's what the thing. They wouldn't need to do the propaganda if they weren't worried. And they're worried because they know most of us are on the same page with the mask, with all of this stuff. It's just not human. They're dehumanizing us with it. And these kids, like when they grow older, it's going to be sad. Like, I mean, these are formative years. This is critical.
I can't remember the exact percentage, but I know it's 80s or above. Communication and the percentage that is nonverbal and the percentage that more than likely exists from here down. I don't know if it was one of the bullshit therapy things I've had to do in the last fucking forever years or something where they showed you different people's eyes and it was relatively difficult to tell the difference on people's eyes. But people's nose and their facial expression and their lips and their cheeks and if they're clenching, it's like that only bolsters your dehumanizing argument. We are losing facial recognition of one another. And even if people had no masks and you had to stay 6 feet away, you can't really pick up, you can't have a genuine human interaction. And the fact that when we express these opinions, we're the crazy ones. I don't even know where to turn anymore, dude. Well, you're better at blocking it out. I'm still in this like existential crisis mode where I really let the state of the world upset me.
It gets to you too much.
Way more than it really should.
Well, I think a big part of it is too, I willingly, and this goes back to the previous point of where I said that even people our age can be guilty of scrolling too much. And that's where, because I willingly, actively read the bullshit. And if you do it so much, you eventually, I don't want to say numb to it because it still fires me up, but I'm able to compartmentalize it a lot better. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I guess it just takes time, practice. I don't know if, some people can't do it. Some people can. What is it? What happened?
Okay, well, we post.
Oh, fuck.
Well, we posted a thing saying comment on the podcast. And in the back of my head, I'm like, no one's going to fucking comment on this.
Did someone comment?
Well, I made a joke about one of our biggest fans who would comment. And it wasn't a comment, but we did get a direct message. You want to answer it and go off of it? Okay. Should I say the username? I mean, fuck it.
No, what is it?
It's Scott.
Oh, yeah, let's hear it.
Echo Scott 1984. Follow him on Instagram. He's got great things to say. We don't endorse anything he posts as a podcast. Whatever he posts, you do not assume. I'm being funny. Okay. Oh, no, he replied to the story. Did you post a story?
Yeah.
What did it say?
Oh, you have to watch it later.
I'm watching it right now.
Oh, shit.
Hang on. Oh. Okay, well, then he's just being shitty. He says, what does it sound like you are walking in... Oh, never mind. I should have proofread all of this.
Why does it sound like I'm walking with a bunch of change?
Yeah, because
I have my keys hanging from my head.
You live like a fucking janitor.
Dude, you know what used to piss me off?
Keep talking.
When I worked at the Lando Gators, I used to have a bunch of keys on my hip. And that's what people used to say. They used to say, you sound like a janitor with all those keys dangling. And I said, if only you knew what these keys unlocked, and it ain't a fucking broom closet, I can tell you that much.
At what point is the statute of limitations up where we can just talk about Gatorland?
I mean, I could talk about it right now.
I want to hear enough of this sad stuff.
No, it ain't sad. It fires me up. We'll get back to it here in a second.
I know.
But what? What do you want to know?
I just, like, what's... I don't know. I don't want to get Gatorland in trouble. I just want to be like, what's the craziest thing where like a snake got out and you got it at the last minute? Like, oh shit.
Oh yeah, we've had a couple of snakes escape, but we've found them. We had this room, and really, it's just gross negligence. It's just people not shutting the fucking enclosure.
Yeah, it's not the company as a whole. It's the employee who made a dumbass choice.
Yeah, and we'd walk in. Luckily, it was in a room, so unless there was a hole to get out of the actual building, then it could find its way out. But usually someone would leave it open, and then we'd come in to grab one of them for an encounter or whatever we needed the reptile for. And then it would be missing, and we'd be like, fuck. And then we would strip the room down, and 9 times out of 10, the thing would get behind the enclosures and like be sitting like between the wall, because they want to be in a tight, space. They like to be secure. So they just get over there and they just sit there, and then you're like, hey, and then you pull them out, and they were really friendly, these snakes. So they wouldn't even like bite or nothing. They're just like, oh shit, you got me.
Your relationship with snakes though is fucking appalling.
What do you mean?
Just
how comfortable I am with them?
Exactly. How you treat your fucking ball tree python the way I treat my fucking dog.
First off, you said that completely wrong. It's a green tree python. That's not mine. That's my stepdad.
Elephants are like cobras.
Yeah, that shit pissed me off.
What happened there?
I don't know. I have to watch it back.
What I'm referring to is probably the time, and this is because it was juicy. I will put it. I made a smirk earlier because you're like, yeah, maybe put it up. And the amount of times we've both said, yeah, Jared will put it up, or like, we'll put it up. I never do. I just forget. This I might. What I'm referring to is the time Zach and I got the most legitimately upset with each other.
I don't think you were upset. I think you were pushing my buttons. I was pissed.
I didn't realize it.
I don't know how.
And I might have had, we were drinking Milwaukee's Best with Stephen Whalen. And another thing that factors in is whatever I go on binges of content, and this will make sense. When I find, and I think you could probably attest to this, when I find a certain channel or person that I just really connect with, I consume and binge all of their content.
Oh, yeah, I'm the same way. I'm doing that right now with Elijah Schaefer's shows.
Perfect. Well, I did that with Howard Stern, and then
I did before you, and then
I tried to be shocking like Howard.
Yeah.
During this time, I was binging Barstool.
See, you binged that before I started watching that shit.
I love it.
Yeah.
Now, what that did was make me
Addy the Batty.
adopt Dave Portnoy's mindset, which is very antagonistic,
Because I remember when he made waves for that one thing he did.
very button pushy, very what the fuck? What the fuck are you gonna do about it? And sadly, I adopted that persona, and I think I took it out on you, where I could because what he does when he's interviewing somebody, or because people get so upset with him, and he just
Have you ever been in Nantucket?
drives the screwdriver in, and he can tell he's under someone's skin. And he just keeps going. And I might have said we've both said things. I don't know that maybe like rubbed each other the wrong way, and then we move on.
I can't remember initially what was said that was like, no, I think what you were doing, I think what happened was you had made an equivalence of these two animals, and I was saying no, and you were saying yes.
But I think,
And I think I was getting mad because I'm like, you don't know shit. You don't know shit about animals.
you were
Not that I'm an expert, but I mean, I'm 4 years with them.
I made the equivalent that an elephant pinning its ears back or something was like a king cobra. And I think you looked
No. I think you were saying it wasn't. I think I was saying it's similar. Because that's what they
you're
do.
right.
That's what it was.
That is like the universal sign of animals being pissed, though, with like something.
Yes, they make themselves look bigger.
And I think I made fun of you, like, oh yeah, Zach, an elephant's a king cobra.
Yeah, that's what it was.
And that insulted you
And
because you're a wildlife guy.
I love animals.
Well, if I made that joke about something else that maybe you were not as knowledgeable about, you'd probably laugh and be like, whatever. But that's your wheelhouse. Just like if you started talking about making videos or some shit that I do, I'd probably get pissy.
Well, I think I was pissed because
And your friend was there.
and he was not defending me.
Well,
And then I was getting humiliated.
I have learned
But it's all right. I mean, it's fine.
No, I
don't know
learned-
shit.
In therapy, I really discovered that a trigger for me to like say fuck it and just go on a drug crazy binge, and one that would make me relapse on opiates specifically, because that's what I love the most, is getting embarrassed, getting called on the carpet. Whether it's with me and you, there's no cameras rolling, and you did something to make me feel stupid, or we're in front of a bunch of people. So I'll say that about myself. Getting embarrassed is like a trigger for me, and I mean, just to send me on a spiral downwards. So
I feel
or
you.
humiliated, and
I mean, and I'm being dramatic.
facetious.
No, facetious. I
Yes.
don't know. That's not. I don't even think that's the right word
Facetious.
for that moment. I'm being a little bit extra when it came to that moment. It's not like I was humiliated. I mean, that's ridiculous.
I know.
But I was just getting like I was just passionate about what I was saying.
I think I kept pushing the button, and then I gotta put this up. You gave me a look of like, and I don't know if we posted this one or not.
No, it's up there.
Okay, that's the one we posted. The other one we lost, where I cried
Right.
about the.
No, I
home-
think that was that one.
No. I never posted that one.
Well, I can
Not because of that.
I understand you with that. Those moments where you don't want to get embarrassed in front of people. It's happened to me a couple of times. I mean, shoot, Gatorland was a place where that's happened a couple of times where I didn't like what was happening, and I was but you just got to get over it.
I'm very sensitive,
I am too.
and
I mean,
I overthink things to shit.
but I think that is the problem with being in your head too much, and you just it's a little bit of a paranoia when really most people forget shit literally in a couple hours every time.
My problem, I do personalize everything, and I have a very hard time letting things go. You're probably the one person who, whether we're texting or whatever, like I take little to no offense in anything. Like if it takes you a long time to respond, we always say, sorry, I was doing this, which you never care. I never care. And I'm a very sensitive creature.
Well, I mean, you can work on it. That's
What I'm trying to. Now, it's halfway. I was trying to find a good segue to go into this. The whole last podcast was riddled with me talking about like my dating experiences since being divorced and how we kind of settled on like I probably shouldn't be dating right now. Would you agree?
Not yet.
I'm going on a fucking date tomorrow, dude.
Are you really?
Yeah. My mom's housekeeper.
It's getting
So
good.
this starts great. Saw some picture of me from when I was in high school. My dad printed a bunch of.
She was like, this one.
I don't think she's foreign. I think she's white.
Shit.
This one, you've been great for my son. we had, I don't know what she was, Guatemalan or
mustache.
whatever. She stunk. Dina. Jesus. And she would just show up whenever she wanted and just, she was lazy.
I'm gonna fire that bitch.
We did. My mom felt so bad, but it was like she broke one of our there's.
Hold on a second. Your mom. Never mind.
My mom's very clean. Is that what you're gonna say? Why do we need a housekeeper?
Right.
Yeah, it's my mom.
Oh,
She just does it.
Is there one currently though?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Every 2 weeks, I think. My mom's just crazy about that. She'll clean before the housekeeper gets there.
I mean, you know, it's funny. Just real quick before you keep going, my sister, she's living with some roommates right now, and they all pitched in for a house cleaner too because they're just never home to keep the house clean. I thought that was pretty funny. Anyway, keep going.
Well, that was a terrible thing to say.
No, I think it's funny because it's not as uncommon as you think.
No, people have housekeepers. It used to be, oh, housekeeper, oh, pish posh, you're so rich.
No, it doesn't mean that anymore.
Dina sucked. Dina might have been illegal for all I know. I don't know. She was some kind of Latina descent. I'm not gonna speculate on which. So the one my mom
next.
has now saw a picture of me like playing football in high school. Ooh. And I wasn't like a particular stud. I think I'm probably better looking now or more appealing. I don't know. Maybe not. No, the last woman I dated, she liked some young. Young. Below the age of consent. So she told my mom, oh my God, he's gorgeous. Just how moms talk. And said, I have the perfect person for you, and then was supposed to send the number and never did. My mom told me about it a while ago, and I'm like, yeah, right. My mom has a horrible track record of hooking me up with people. The first one, I got to tread lightly here, was this girl who was and my mom swears, I wasn't hooking you up. I was trying to be nice. Was a bagger at a local grocery store. And this grocery store, which does a great thing, hires everybody.
You talking about Publix?
Okay, fuck you. Publix hires people with mental handicaps, which is awesome because there's many jobs and that they are more than capable of performing.
Oh, no, I agree. I mean,
but this story takes a twist.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So I'm not going to say the girl's name. I thought about it. I'm not.
No,
I'm not.
Don't
It's
say
bad.
the goddamn name.
My mom would go to that Publix all the time and talk to her. Clearly something was going on mentally. Some people are born with mental deficiencies. It's how it goes. I think I've got my own that just aren't particularly social. They're more internal.
And that is the uniqueness of their image in God's image.
And
Everyone.
she gave her my number under the guise of, oh, you can go to the youth group my son goes to.
Did your mom not pick up on this? Like,
She did, but she was just, so maybe my mom's right. She was just trying to be nice, but it backfired
I see.
because so-and-so took it as a setup. Again, takes a dark twist. And I'll get back to the original story. The girl comes to the youth group. I'm nice. All's well. And I definitely start to catch on. One, I already kind of was immediately when you meet her, like something's going on. I'm sorry, I'm not making a judgment. It's just true. And she wouldn't leave me alone. And she really, really latched on to me. And then the initial night, and I'm so nice that I hate it. She said, "Can I have a ride home?" And that's how she talked. I'm just being serious. And I was like, I wasn't dating anybody at the time. And not that that mattered. Oh, why did I say that? Why did I say that? I don't know. Because like I said, if I had a girlfriend or something, I would have had to like make an excuse of why not. And I was just like, yeah.
But if you think about it, that would have been that's a shitty thing too. If you would have been like, "I'm sorry, I can't. I have a girlfriend." It's like, Jared, come on.
Yeah, that would have been nasty. And apparently she lived close to my parents' old house, and it was just like, okay. So I bit the bullet and I took her. And the only real memory I have, she was very reluctant. I think she eventually did, but she was weird about putting on her seatbelt. And I was like, I'm religious about my seatbelt. I'm just always have been. And I kept pushing her to do the seatbelt. And then before the seatbelt finally clicked, she turned on my radio and put on K Country. It's a station around here. And there was
I already hate it. I don't even have to listen.
Just the most basic country thing. And Zach, she started, no seatbelt, so we're driving this way. And she turns her body and starts like,
putting on a show for you.
In the seat, she starts dancing, and I am the most uncomfortable I've ever been. I finally get her home, and I'm like, all right, I'll see you. I pull in her driveway, and you're not going to walk me to the door? And I was like, okay, I'll walk you to the door. So I walk her to the door, and then there's I can just tell she's like fucking waiting for something, and I'm like, maybe I'm an asshole. I got out of there quick. The asking for rides kept going. Everything kept going. Until I reached a point where I started noticing holes in her plot line. And I started noticing, wait a second, you are way more with it than you're letting on. She started manipulating. And I started to think, is she like this autistic evil genius? I wish I could really recall what would go on, but just the way she would say something to someone and pit him against that one, like she created division in that group. And how she knew when to turn on I don't know what's going on. And when she knew to be like, no, here's what I want to do type of person. And just as
do
another.
Do you have any evidence of this?
No concrete evidence, Your Honor.
Okay.
Just witness
speculation.
Testimony. Well, I remember it. I can't think of a story.
No, I believe you. I'm just wondering if there was
down this road on this. The only evidence I have is I told you the fitness guys I've been watching lately. There's one of them. It all kind of started out and centers around Jason Genova, and he is on the autism spectrum. And everybody in the early 2010s really started working with him, doing stuff. Not because they felt bad, because this kid who's got some mental disabilities wanted seemingly very sincerely to be a bodybuilder. And they're like, dude, I'll train. If you're going to show up, I'll train you. But then he started extorting money from them. Can I have $5? You're my best friend. And then he put on I don't know what's going on. And he really kind of became a con artist. And I think there is that subset of like, somewhere on the autism spectrum. There's con artists who are not autistic, obviously, but it's not exclusive to anything, where they recognize they have these disabilities. They recognize how people usually behave towards them because of it. And then they somewhere along the line gain this awareness.
It's almost like a glitch.
And exploit it on people. So that's the history of my mom setting me up with people. So I'm not going into this optimistically.
Oh man, I'm about to get a full report on this.
I will. I texted her, and I always try to be fucking clever and listen, I'm a fucking dumbass douchebag.
Hopeless romantic.
Yeah, and my problem is I text, and you can again attest to this, I text exactly how I talk, which is often in several paragraphs and several messages sometimes.
Yeah, it's rapid fire.
But
I'm guilty of this as well.
Well, we're comfortable with each other. And to the unknowing eye, that can appear very overwhelming.
And aggressive.
I usually try to dismiss it and be like, oh.
Because that's the world we live in now.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, I talk this way, this and that. And I don't know. I was given the story of she's very like me. She doesn't hang out with many people. She doesn't go do much. She's shy. And I'm the same way. I just dated somebody after I got divorced who was too far out in the world and too involved with too much.
One extreme to the other.
So, well, yeah, my ex-wife was more along the lines of this person. And I don't mean
the one you're about to go out with?
Yeah, but it's not, I can see, there's no similarities. It's just other than reserved. And I've always liked a reserved woman. I don't like a floozy. I don't like the fun girl. Sorry. And everybody's fun when you eventually boil down to it, even if they're shy. But I just don't think she's vibing with me, dude. I told her.
Well, you gotta wait until you meet face to face, because back to tie it all in, we thrive off of actual human interaction, not through the phone. So you have to be there in person and make that decision for yourself.
Well, we're going to get coffee tomorrow at noon.
It's a good time to drink caffeine.
And I've not talked to her all day today. I'll probably text her once we're done with this.
Have you ever met her in person?
No.
Okay, well then
Seen
what
her
the fuck
pictures.
do you expect?
Seen her pictures. Well, I don't know. I was kind of in my, like, I'm a guy and I'm playing games because I don't play games. Everyone on Tinder, not looking for games. Shut the fuck up. Everybody plays their little fucking mental games and fuck you. Whether they're malicious or not, everyone's saying, I don't play games. Fuck you. You're the one who does.
Courting is the game.
And, I didn't find this girl on there. I mean, obviously it was the setup. But I always try to be very engaging and very interesting. And when I'm talking to a girl, I never want to leave a response to something where she's like, what the fuck do I say to that? I always try to leave them with I always throw them a bone. This is about to be really misogynistic. I was about to say, come on, girl, go get it.
You're so bad, man.
But I'm serious. I'm like, I give.
Yeah, and then they're like, I don't play fetch.
What I'm trying to say is I like to think I'm an engaging conversation. And we had some answers. I'll be honest, because this will upload after we meet. And after we meet, I'll have already told her. I fessed up and I was like, because she was saying something about horses. She used to do something with horses. And I was like, I did equine therapy. And for those who don't know, the place I did equine therapy was the drug treatment facility I got sentenced to after stealing somebody's drugs. So I don't want to be a liar. I've been a liar in other relationships. And I halfway skirted around it, and I said the name of the facility, Mending Fences. And I was like, I just did that for a while, but there's a lot attached to that. I'll talk to you on Friday about it. Left it kind of vague. But that's always... And then, I suck on this vape like it's my fucking binky. And I'm a man with a lot of faults. And I let those faults get in my head. And I let it hold me down.
Let me ask you, are you a man that's willing to work on your faults?
Yes.
Then that's what counts.
Psychologically, I'm willing to work on my faults. I think I really have made a lot of improvements.
Physically, you're dependent.
But see, to me, I don't give a shit. If she vaped like a chimney, I wouldn't care, even if I didn't.
Right. But you have in your head that she's going to care that you do it.
I already have that preconceived notion.
Right. You don't know that yet.
And that'll make me want to hide it from her.
Well, and
it'll make me, is saying to people, I'm on probation for another couple months, I'm a convicted felon, is a difficult thing to tell someone and not scare them the fuck off. Because
I think details matter.
I agree. It's just, I know there's certain trigger words that people hear and it's just, nope, especially over text. So that's why I avoided it over text.
Yeah, that's a good call. That's an in-person conversation.
And we also kind of slid into this thing that really our generation created, which, and I know you've probably been a part of, which is this all day, 24/7, like text thread where you're just sleep to bed, you're always somehow saying something to somebody. And then you start to look for like, okay, I got like 30 minutes and I can like wait and I can say I was doing this, because you really don't want to talk to people that much, that extensively. And then you feel like a dickhead for being like, hey, I'll hit you up later, or hey, I'll see you on Friday instead, because then there's people like me who are oversensitive who are like, they don't want to talk to me, this, even though in the back of your head you really don't want to talk either. Texting really fucked up a lot of things. What texting is great for is me setting up for this podcast and you texting me, I'm going to be 20 minutes late, or I'm getting there early.
Well,
instead of calling and getting to a whole
I think one thing we have to realize now is texting is to the point to where it's sort of like email now, because even in like the job I have, like that is a thing that you can do to someone you don't even know, and like you just need to get it in your head that it's like it's okay for you not to reply right away, and because texting is so just standard now that if people don't write you back, it's not that big a deal anymore.
You're right. What I hate the most, and I'd love for this to be my happy ever after, and this is the person I'm going to be with the rest of my life, and all I ever know is to be honest on this podcast and be honest with the Savants and just talk. And if it doesn't work out, tell them exactly what happened and not put people's lives on blast, but embarrass myself instead of other people. But starting over text message, I feel like you're already behind the 8 ball. Dating apps. It's like a fucking cattle call. And
but hey, that's not true. I know someone who is getting married, and it started on Bumble.
I've had zero luck with Bumble. I've had one Tinder, one Hinge. Scorecard, we'll put it up here. But even they probably would agree. We're at 57 minutes, by the way, so we can wrap it up in a second. I know you got to go. Thank you for coming, by the way.
Yeah, I'm dog sitting. I got to let them out.
They would agree it's unnatural. And ideally, you'd want to meet how you and your wife met. How
the boomers probably met.
Me and my wife met, ex-wife. Even how me and the woman afterwards met. And where I was grateful because she was a much older woman, texting wasn't really a part of the relationship. And the amount of unnecessary conflict I got into with my ex-wife as a result of texting and this constant communication are innumerable and really were a detriment to my marriage. So, God, the real underlying theme of the episode from when we started to when we finished is like,
how are we going to be when we're older?
And technology is taking a toll. As amazing as it is, none of us would give this up. Nobody would go turn in their iPhones for whatever at this point.
Well, we're addicted to them. And the problem is we're not only addicted, but they're essential.
We're addicted and dependent. Some people's entire
business is operated through these things.
When Facebook went down,
that was great.
They lost 8 point something billion in I think it was less than 24 hours.
I'm not surprised.
Now think about the amount of businesses, small businesses, podcasts like us, Facebook shows.
Yeah.
Lost money. That would probably go into about 15 to 20 billion
I mean, it was a clear
Total.
dip in the, graph.
And all that was about this bitch saying there's not enough censorship, and Facebook more than likely reacting and getting rid of a lot of the things they could potentially get in trouble for post-wise or content-wise. Correct, or am I wrong?
Well,
We'll end on this.
to be continued, because I got a whole thing about her.
You can go for a second. We're at an hour.
Well, it ties into nefarious things that I believe the government are doing as far as how they can do it, i.e. censoring.
Can we end on that and leave the audience with a big-ass question mark?
Yeah.
And leave the audience not just regurgitating what Zach says and saying, wow, did you hear this? Look it up. Find your own sources like he does, like I now do. He's way better about it than I am. I'm saying do your objective research. That's my final word. Continue. Facebook leak. What was going on? Why did it happen, Zach?
Oh, shit. Oh, you want me to say it?
I want you to go. You've got 10 minutes. Go deep.
Oh, well, she came forward. You saw her in Congress. Did you see any of that? She was on 60 Minutes first.
The only thing I saw was 60 Minutes. And from my perspective as the average unknowing person, I'm going to say this really quick. A month ago, maybe a month and a half ago, I get a text from Zach saying in about a month's time, you're not going to be able to find your favorite products in the grocery store, and there's going to be national shortages. I'm looking at the shipping thing. I'm calling it. A month and a half, 2 months ago, he said that. Look what's going on now.
To be fair, it's not like there was other people saying it too.
He was privy to it. All I'm saying is, when you talk, I know it's not out your ass, and I know you've checked it. When it comes to very serious things that you're very passionate about. I'm not trying to put unnecessary pressure on you, and then people can, oh no, actually it's this. What I'm trying to say is, this man fucking does his research on everything. I'm not saying take his word as gospel, but when he talks, I fucking listen. From where I was, I'm not even on Facebook. I saw Facebook went down. Everything goes down. YouTube goes down, and I chilled. And then when I woke up the next morning and I texted you, is it still down? Yes. So
No, it actually was up.
Are you sure?
It was only down for the day. For about.
Maybe I woke up early.
But
All I'm trying to say is you're very meticulous about your shit. I'm not trying to put unnecessary godlike pressure on you, but you're not a bullshitter. I'm trying to up you, not down you. So the Facebook thing, for someone like me who's looking at it, thinking, what the fuck, Facebook went down, what happened? And then seeing that bullshit 60 Minutes, where do you fall with all this?
Well, I mean, if you look into it, she was an activist. She donates money to, I'll give you one guess which party. So they have her come in, they have her testify, they have her talk all this shit. They have her say, Facebook's in it for the profits, blah, blah, blah. Just says a bunch of stuff that I guess we've already know. Nothing surprising, nothing groundbreaking, right? But what in my opinion, Facebook and like these tech people, they censor, right? We get censored?
Very obviously.
Okay. Facebook and all these other platforms are just that. They're platforms, right? They're protected by law. So that way they're not liable for certain things because they're platforms. They don't publish stuff. Okay? because we live in America, because the government can't directly, evidently be the ones to censor because they know what it will do, they have to use other means. What are those other means?
Social media companies.
Right. So these social media companies are used by the federal government to do their dirty work, right? Why do you think Facebook and the Twitter, Jack Dorsey and shit, they were in so many hearings in the past and nothing gets done? Nothing ever gets done about it. So, you know, and I'm not the only one to have said this, but I agree with it and I've come to the same kind of conclusion. I think they brought her to the forefront to put more pressure onto the book because I think that the government does not think that the book is censoring enough for their liking.
So what you're saying, for idiots terms like me, is the government brought forth this activist they found to rail against Facebook because Facebook is not going as strict to their agenda as they would like.
Right, because
Okay.
I think they're losing control of the conversation because of new media and like what we were saying before. And because in the hearing she says that she thinks Facebook needs an oversight, and she even suggested someone like me to basically keep them in check. They want control. They want control of it. So, yeah, no, I don't buy that bitch for a second because, sorry, you should bleep that out.
No, she's a bitch.
Because other people from Facebook have already come forward to other places and they're not saying that same stuff. So I just think it's a glorified whistleblower and not a real one. And I think that it was I think it was all very much coincidental. I don't believe in coincidences with the outage shortly thereafter that shit aired on 60 Minutes. And I don't know what Facebook was up to, though. I'm not saying that Facebook's the good guy either, but I'm saying that they're in their own tango with the Dems, and they are threatened because they don't want more regulation. And that's what they're threatening them with. They're basically saying, like, do what we need you to do, or we're going to strip you of this title, and we will make you whatever. We will regulate you however we need to, because in the end, what does that affect? Profits, all sorts of stuff gets affected. It's a domino effect.
Ultimately, all Facebook cares about is their bottom line. Now, we said this earlier, talking about older people. Older people, think about this, savants out there, have generally latched onto Facebook. I don't know the statistics. More than likely, the older generation, or a lot of the older generation that is posting on Facebook, leans very conservative and more than likely probably voted for Donald Trump. That's me, Jared, making a reach in an assumption. I'm saying Facebook's core business is 50 to 65-year-olds passionately posting this and that and the American flag, and I'm not making fun of them. I'm just saying that's what I see Facebook's bread and butter as. People like you and people like me and your wife and our friends.
I mean,
I don't use Facebook.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't think I fall in that. I don't post. I lurk.
Because I say that, I look at my father who falls in that category.
Yeah, I see him. He's active as shit on there.
He gets into arguments and he gets into pissing matches with certain people, and he gets with people who agree with him. But think about Facebook, everybody. That's engagement for their bottom line. So, and I've got another point. When somebody comes in and says, if we were running Facebook and they were trying to kick our best clientele off of our platform, I'd want to somehow figure out a way to make that not happen because I want the best clientele so I can make more money.
I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, that might be exactly what's happening because
The sun's hitting me now.
it didn't make a whole lot of sense.
The Lord is prophesying on me.
Right? I got pissed like a fucking racehorse.
Go piss. Go right now.
Be right back.
So, what I was going to say before he had to piss, and while I try to pretend like I really didn't forget what I was going to talk about because I consume too many mind-altering substances as well as proclaiming I'm sober. This looks bad for me, doesn't it? He's pissing like a racehorse. I'll never forget watching Barbaro in like 2006 or 7, and he was from Ocala, and he was like the best horse ever, and he broke his fucking leg winning the Triple Crown. So, oh my God, dude. We just had a great little thing. Facebook uses boomers. Here's what I was going to say. Fuck you. Fuck the commenter who's like, Jared's lost in the sauce. Jared's sober. Fuck off.
Someone wrote that?
They're gonna.
Oh.
The sun is shining on me. I look at the case of past whistleblowers. Everybody, close your eyes. Think about, and don't say anything, the most famous whistleblower of all time. What's the first one that pops in your head?
Snowden.
I told you to keep your mouth shut. Think about the media coverage on Snowden. I'm just joking with you. I don't want another Cobra moment. Think about the media coverage on Snowden.
Traitor.
Was Snowden invited to 60 Minutes to sit in studio and have lights and makeup and craft services? And do you want a sandwich? And oh, does that dress look good? We're going to make you look great. Fuck off. Snowden got sent to fucking Russia or Ukraine. Where is he?
I don't know, but...
he says where he is, but I bet you he's not even where he says he is. Snowden, Edward Snowden, who, for those who don't know, was the one who leaked that the NSA is spying on every fucking thing you do on a little device, didn't get this red carpet rollout.
No, he got exiled.
He got exiled, labeled a traitor, labeled a treasonist by the Obama campaign, who had a section on their website prior to this talking about we will reward whistleblowers. Where's that section, Barack? This guy in rehab told me this actually convincing conspiracy theory that Michelle Obama is a transvestite. But we'll wait and tell that one next episode. Because in his whole thing was like, he's a black guy, Ed. He said,
did he believe it?
Oh, God, he believed everything. He believed Alex Jones. He believed Flat Earth. He and I kind of got into it about that. So take it with a grain of salt. He was like, there was 2 times in this interview where Obama referred to Michelle as Mike or Michael. Michael.
Did he show it to you? Is that real?
We were in rehab. We don't have our phones.
Oh, shit. Okay.
So anyone can say anything. Rehab is like the 90s where it's like, nah, bro, I'm telling you.
That's like the epitome of all rumors starting. They're just like, nah, man, you know Tracy?
And then
she a dude.
And then you get out and you're like, oh, that one.
You talking about Tracy on the TV? And they look it up and be like, oh, you can't look it up. We ain't got no phones here.
Yeah, but then I heard someone else.
You just take it and run with it. It's a Tom Segura joke. He joked about this. That shit is funny.
I don't remember.
Oh, you gotta. Anyway, keep going.
I remember someone recently on a podcast I was talking about, or a podcast I was listening to, talking about Michelle Obama dancing on Ellen, and you can see her cock.
What?
I don't know, dude. I'm just a messenger. Don't kill the messenger. But under the Obama campaign, he said whistleblowers are welcome. I want it. I want to know what's going wrong with the government.
Only if you advance our narrative.
But under the Obama campaign, everybody's greatest president, their savior, sent the man to another country to which he can never return, to this country.
Right, unless someone grants him amnesty or whatever.
And then there was a whistleblower, coincidentally,
drops his charges.
Oh. Wait, hang on, I can't remember. Who was the vice president when Obama was president?
Oh.
The old guy, the one who forgets everything.
Yeah, the dude that he's
but he's the one who like sniffs girls' hair
and eats a shit load of ice cream.
He loves the fucking ice cream. Fuck, what's his name? He's like a pedophile.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name. Regardless of what his name is.
I remember his middle name's like Robinette.
Is that really?
Yeah. Really? Or something like that.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's like...
I'll look it up.
I forget.
But even though we can't remember who it is.
Yeah.
He's the president now, isn't he?
I think so. I think he is the president now. Shit.
Donald Trump's still my president.
Yeah.
So, but the guy who's like in charge now...
Bring back mean tweets.
Is kind of like the one who's dealing with this whistleblower now. So he was also kind of dealing with that whistleblower before... So I look at a real whistleblower and I look at this bitch.
Whistleblower, this bitch. It don't add up.
It doesn't.
The moral of the story, it don't add up.
Just look at it, people. Savants, whatever you want to call yourself.
You know, I'm somewhat of a savant myself. And I'll tell you this. We live in a fake world. Everything's fake. The whistleblower's fake. The White House is fake. I mean, you've seen it. Literally, like they have a set. We have a fake president. We are fighting a fake pandemic. Shit, I'm just trying to beat the algorithm.
I like it.
Where everything is twisted. We're changing the meaning of language. Everything is just fake. We live in a fake world now.
Science is fake. Gender is fake.
We need to pierce through this shit because I can tell you now, if there's one thing that I hope, you know, you and I and the people that may watch this and the people that enjoy this is that in the end we can call ourselves, you know, somewhat savants, but more importantly, somewhat savants of the truth.
That's all it is. As you said that, I halfway kind of got chills. I'm like, what if saying the word or the phrase somewhat savants or calling or referring to yourself as a savant in the future became like a gang and a hate group? That'd be crazy.
Well, fucking A, don't ask for that shit.
I'm not asking for it. I'm just thinking it's coming. Or saying you listen to Joe Rogan considers you a hate group. If that's on your Spotify list, like how deep is this going to go?
There's no telling, but all I know is that we can just do what we can do and just, you know, just fucking, I mean.
The savants are strong. And the savants are an army.
Yep, we got 6 deep.
Dude. It took one lady to overrun the White House one time.
This is true.
We got 6.
Like and subscribe.
We have no plans of overrunning the White House.